Senate Bill 172 by Senator Colomb. It is an act amending the Civil Code and the Children's Code relative to marriage.
Senator Colomb.
Senator Martini sends up technical amendments on behalf of the Legislative Bureau and moves adoption of the technical amendment.
Out objection, so ordered. Senator Colomb.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this bill started out saying that you had to have a minimum age for marriage in the state of Louisiana. It went through committee and we talked a lot about it, so Senator Luno has an amendment to reduce the age down to 16 and some other technical things that have to do with the law that he'll explain to you. But most states do have a minimum age for being married, and Louisiana does not have a minimum age.
All right, questions of Senator Colomb? Any further discussion?
No, we got an amendment, Mr.
You have an amendment? Mm-hmm. We don't have it at the desk, though.
Senator Luno's right there. Oh.
Let's return to the calendar until we can get it, okay?
Thank you, Mr. President. So members,
Senator Colomb now calls back Senate Bill number 172 by Senator Colomb as an act to amend the Civil Code and the Children's Code, all relative to marriage.
Senator Colomb.
Thank you, Mr. President. So members, we're back with the bill for the minimum age for marriage. There are a lot of reasons for trafficking and all kinds of other things that could happen, but we've come to an agreement. And I talked to Christy Cross in the back from the Family Forum, and they were pleased that we reduced it from 18 to 16. And I also told them that if there is a problem after we amend it, that I would work with them between here and when we go to the House committee. So they were okay with that. And Senator Luno has his amendment.
All right, Senator Luno, you have an amendment?
Amendment set up by Senator Luno is set number 2142. 2142.
Senator Luno on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this amendment is kind of convoluted because it changes up several different provisions in the law, so let me just kind of cut to the chase and tell you what it does. It reduces the age for marriage from what was originally in the bill at 18 down to 16. So with court approval, they can get married as early as age 16. And it also inserts the felony provisions found in the carnal knowledge law, which basically says that in a marriage below the age of 18, the difference in age cannot be more or greater than 4 years. See no questions on the amendment, Mr. President.
Senator Long, you got a question on the amendment or the bill? On the bill. All right. Senator Colomb, you object to the amendment?
No, I do not.
All right. Is there any objection to adoption of the amendment? Any objection? All right, stands adopted. Senator Colomb, you wish to answer questions? Senator Long, you want to ask a question? You want to speak on it? Okay. All right, Senator Long, come on down.
Members, I rise in opposition to this bill. If you'll give me just a few moments to express my opinion on this and to simply let you know that I value marriage, as you do. But I think when we begin to arbitrarily determine the age that marriage can be acceptable or marriage can be a part of law, I think we're really crossing into an area that I believe has some unintended consequences. I realize culture changes and I realize life changes, but I want you to know when you begin to look at the sanctity of marriage, it's really important that we understand that oftentimes people do marry before the age of 18 for the right reasons. Many young people, and by the way, I looked up the statistics, less than 1% marry before age 18. I just believe that this is an arbitrary number that we don't need to go to. Parents still play a major role, and yes, I know what you're saying, that many decisions are made without the influence of parents or the church or the clergy. But I would ask you to look at that where we draw a line and says no one under age 18 can marry. Marriage is holy, it's special, But I don't think we need to be arbitrarily determining when a person falls in love. And if the reason is just and the cause is right, we ought to allow that.
So members,
Just a minute. Any other amendments? All right, no. All right, Senator Morrell, you wish the floor? Come on down.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I rise in support of this bill. Ladies and gentlemen, we have passed quite a few bills dealing with things like human trafficking. And when you look at what the senator is trying to do, I understand that there are some concerns with this bill, but I think that that this state is rife with examples of individuals who are doing things that, for the most part, are considered illegal, but then they're able to correct illegal behavior, like a 40-year-old sleeping with a 12-year-old, by interjecting marriage into the mix. Obviously, it's not the author's intent to discourage young people who decide that they want to be married into getting married, but at some point, as you've seen across the country, when you're dealing with things like human trafficking, there have been so many instances, which I'm sure Senator Dorsey could point to, where human traffickers literally marry their victims to get the protections of spousal immunity and things like that. There is a reason why across the country, including the South, they have tackled this issue of marriage age, because at the end of the day, juveniles should be protected. They should be given extra scrutiny, and there's no nefarious intent here. She's simply saying that we have to establish as a state that there is a bright line in which where someone, we are sure they're getting married of their own free will and their own free volition, and it's not because of some other nefarious purposes. So I rather support this bill. I know she has been consistently working with the opposition to try and find compromise. She'll continue to do so, but I think that it is absolutely the right thing to do.
All right, any other discussion? Senator Colomb, you have a right to close on your bill.
thank you, Mr. President. Members, let me just tell you a couple of things. I agree with Senator Long. The age, and we reduced the age from 18 to 16, Senator Long. I didn't know if you had seen or heard the amendment. The other thing is I was in my office earlier, and Congress was doing an amendment, I think, from the direction of the president, so that you could not buy tobacco until you were 21, and you can't get drafted for the Army when we were drafting until you were 18, and we even have a law that says you can't drive until you're 16. So I think that we need to protect our young people. Most states do have a floor, and the floors are different in different states. But we've worked with the opposition, and 16 was something that they could live with. And so I'd ask you to vote for the bill, and if someone wants to discuss it further as it moves through the process, I'll be happy to do that. And I move favorable passage as amended.
Senator Colomb now moves final passage. Machines open, those in favor, vote yes, opposed no. Vote your machines, please. Vote your machines, please. Senator Morrell, yes. You through voting? All right, close them up, please. 22 yeas, 15 nays. The bill is finally passed. Reconsider vote. Let no objection.